Pilots, welcome back to episode number 59 of RC Pilots Lounge. We are very excited to be here this evening, Saturday night, 9 o'clock, as always. We have a couple special guests. The elusive Bigfoot has been spotted and will be on the show tonight with Wesley Miller, Mary Boozer RC himself, and Lori running the production. We're going to have a great show tonight, unboxing the Bigfoot 1300 millimeter, 51-inch wingspan bush plane. It's basically a Cessna 150 on tail dragger setup, and we're going to show you what this thing is all about with Wesley right now. You ready?
I'm ready,
Let's
man.
do this.
Thanks,
Wesley,
guys, for
what is
having
going
me.
on?
Oh, man, just loving the way this plane looks. We got it this week. Early access thanks to you, Pilot Ryan. Everybody, big thanks to Ryan for sponsoring this Boozer episodes coming up with purchasing this airplane for us. So big thank you, man. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you from the Boozers channel.
You're very welcome, and you deserve it, and you guys help me tremendously. So it's like we have so much fun doing these. I mean, this is like unheard of stuff, right? I mean, Wesley, you guys really help make it happen. I mean, it wouldn't happen without you raising the bar on the tag team live stream, if you will.
Yeah, man. It's been a lot of fun here lately. We've gotten a lot better over the past few weeks. Guys that came by for the Marlin last week, we had a lot of fun doing that episode. Can't wait to fly it and get the videos out on the Marlin. And now we've got the Bigfoot, so this is going to be just a ball. And the Bigfoot's right down my alley because a lot of guys that have seen my previous things know I've been in love with some of the other bush planes on the market right now. So I'm stoked for this. And, it kind of looks like a mini, like, CZ28, whatever the big thing is from Flex Innovations. I mean, it kind of looks like a miniature version of that to me. And I love that airplane, so I imagine this one's going to be a ball for way less money than that big thing was.
For sure. And this fits a lot more of our community right. Is... the two cell birds we just released they're great, but they're a little bit different, unique. It's kind of a different set of batteries and stuff, but this is right up everybody's alley. Familiar sizes, 3S batteries.
Yeah, everybody's got 3S 2200s laying around from.
It's a top feeder.
Oh yeah,
man. Let's show them what it's all about, dude. Because I already know, and you probably took a peek in the box.
I took a peek, yeah. So all right, let's get up
crack
to the top shot then.
Yes,
and
you're there,
look
man.
At it, guys. It's a nice graphic, but who cares about the box at the end of the day? You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, well, let's start cracking into it.
You're gonna like it, Wesley.
Ta-da.
Look at that. It's got lights.
I know, and I'm digging the light setup. The one that this kind of reminds me of is like an e-flite Timber. I think this is going to be a direct competitor for that. And I'm digging it, so let's start getting into it. I like the color, too. Right. It's bright. You can see it real easily.
Yes.
I'm glad it's not neon green, though.
Right.
First wing out of the box. This is an early sample, guys, just to let you know, and you're seeing it just as first as I am right now. And I'm just going to start getting it out of the box, and then we'll do some close-up shots of everything for the guys.
This ought to be how they're coming, too.
Yeah. Carbon spar.
Nice. Wait till you're going to love it, man. I mean, it really goes together well, and there's some cool... The methods at which they connect surfaces is cool. You'll see. Just wait.
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful here getting everything out of the box. Don't want to break nothing. Oop, I missed some tape. Give me a second here.
That's right. You got to get that one end off.
Cut this real quick.
So let's talk spec a little bit. So it's a 1300 millimeter wingspan, which is 51 inches, probably some change. This thing has flaps and ailerons, all the servos installed out of the box, corrugated detail on the flaps, ailerons, control surfaces, and big old Tundra tires, Oh,
yeah, I'm digging the big Tundra tires.
And lights. Did I say lights? Look at that.
Yeah, and I mean they look like bright LEDs. Whoop, there we go, right there.
Nice. Vortex
Yeah,
generators.
I didn't expect the vortex generators. I mean, I'm really seeing it being like a smaller version of those big Stoll planes that have been coming out lately. And it's still not small, don't get me wrong. 1,300 millimeters, this is a good size airplane once it's all together. I'm excited, man.
I hesitate to say it's just right, but because I mean I have so much fun with
Well, this
everything, you
one's
know.
big enough to where it's going to fly really well, but it's small enough to fit in the car without taking it apart. Because there's nothing
Show
worse.
the antenna.
There's, where's the antenna?
See, don't you
Okay.
don't have to show me the antenna, but show us where it goes. Look at that. Actually, that's you put 25 cents in there every time you're about to fly.
For
And
the airplane gods.
yes, it's the landing fees.
Yeah, it's cool. And then the strut on the bottom, it's actually taped down right now. Let's see here.
Can you show that knuckle where it hits the wing a little bit? It's pretty. It's a nice design. Now that's going to slide over a stub on the fuselage and then like body pin in. But I like this hinge right here. It looks up to the task. It's nice.
Yeah.
And it's screwed if you have to get
The
to
arrows
it.
branded servos.
Yep. Corrugated ribbing detail.
Camera. There it goes.
There you go.
The foam kind of reminds me of some of the e-flite planes lately, as far as the finish of it. It's the look of it. You know what I mean? It's not painted.
Yeah.
This is a bare foam on here, which is good. That keeps it light.
It does, and it keeps it. It's a little cheaper probably
I
that
also
way.
think it's cool that you even get the curved wingtips.
Yeah, I like
That's
that
so
too.
cool looking. I forget what they actually call that. We're not going for the technical name tonight. Somebody will correct me.
Sure.
Let's see here. Man, look at the size of these tires. They're huge.
I know, right? That's like a bagel, like a big
Like
bagel.
a big bagel. That's right. And this is actually aluminum too.
Yep.
Aluminum struts. It's not cladded in plastic or anything, guys. I mean, these are just straight up metal.
Which is nice because, and then those are nylon locking nuts on the interior side of the axle. So I'd be surprised if you lose one.
And it'd be easy if somebody wanted to put some kind of a low bounce, big puffy tire on this. The way those are set up, those would be easy to change out if you wanted a different kind of tire too. I don't foresee
100%.
needing it, but if you wanted to. But these are super light too. And the key
you're
to
gonna
a
love
Stoll plane is not for scale detail when you're going for Stoll. It's going for...
You're cutting out a little bit. You're cutting out a little bit. So say that again. The key to the Stoll plane is what?
The key to the Stoll plane is that it be light and not the super scale details. The lightness really helps these planes fly the best you can as far as coming in floating real easy and them flying really good. So I think this is going to be a winner from the way I'm seeing it built as far as lightness goes.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Oh man, what's next? What's next? What's next?
I want to get the tail out first because I don't want to just cheat and go right for the big part. Let's see if I can get to it.
Oh my goodness. Guys are gonna love this one, dude. Look at that. So the manual's really straightforward. So that'll go on, and then the vertical goes on, and you screw the vertical, holds that down. And then you'll see a really cool thing on the bottom of the vertical where the steering tiller goes for the tail wheel.
And I know a lot of guys are going to want to know, it looks like this is foam hinges on this one. I get asked that every time we unboxed one. I don't know where those weird lines are coming from right now. But yeah, foam hinges.
Looks good here. Yeah.
Plenty of travel.
Counterbalanced. Look at that.
That's cool.
It is cool.
All right.
What's next? What's next? What's next?
I like to keep you in suspense here.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
Wait for the big part. It's not time yet. Prop. Man, that prop is stiff too. That's going to be one pulling dude.
It's tough. It's nice chunky piece of prop right there.
It is. It's hard to get it across, guys. I mean, this thing is stiff.
It is.
That's good though.
And you guys, we'll be talking with you in the chat during this too. So don't worry. You got any questions? Just let us know. We're not seeing the comments really as we're doing this, but we'll be there with you in the chat. Bigfoot sighting.
That's right, Bigfoot sighting. The manual to stalking it. So just kind of flip a couple pages. I mean, this looks like it's going to be one of those 5-minute builds, guys. Assemblies, I should say.
Super easy. I want to see what you got in your parts bag.
When I find it. Oh, I think it's right there. I don't know how I'm going to reach it. Hang on, let me grab a pair of needle nose to reach down there and grab it. And it's right down in this little bin here. Aha!
Look at that extraction. So you got some Y connectors and your hardware, your body clips, your barrel nut for the prop.
Body clips are on this side.
Your antenna, all your bolts and things.
All the bobs and bits. Look at them antennas. Those are long. I wasn't expecting them to be that long.
Yep, just one. And good thing it's not a bottom feeder or you'd break that thing off right away.
Right?
But,
I'm glad to see they did not put the battery hatch on the bottom of this plane. That is my biggest downfall on some of the other ones right now is for the stalled planes. I hate the battery being on the bottom. I hate it.
Not my favorite either. So look at those exhaust stubs on the bottom.
Hey, wait.
And then
look at it in all its beauty. I'm just kidding. All right.
It's nice. Hey, so show us those exhaust. Look where the gears screw on.
Right here.
Brass threaded inserts there for your landing gear, and then there's a plastic plate that goes right over it and sandwiches those gear on, which is pretty slick. There's your exhaust stubs, and then there's your thing for your struts go on.
So that goes right there.
And can you show us the light in front at all? There we go. Right there, you're upside down kind of, but it's cool.
Yeah.
So bolt-on, look at that awesome bolt-on prop shaft, which is nice. Good size motor. And then the light right there under the where the spinner would be, which is pretty bright.
Yeah, this is cool too. Are these like an accessory? Oh, okay, so that's actually venting too. So these are actually little holes right here. Check that out.
Little holes, and if you had to get your cowl off, there's the screws.
Yep. That's pretty cool how they actually vented it through there. You don't see it too often where they actually vent through that and have it reach a screw hole, because that's actually hard plastic in there.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's a solid bird. So what's the next coolest thing is the very aft end of the fuselage. Let's see that.
Right.
And then we can show them the battery door. So I guess you won't really see it until you see the rudder. But there's your steering tiller. So you see that protruding aft. Now, after a little bit, you'll know exactly where that goes, and it is an easy deal. No trouble there. Let's show me the battery hatch cover.
Okay.
And then the wing bolts up there on the top.
Interesting looking, I don't know if y'all can see it. It's kind of an interesting little clip. They kind of designed it to look a little prettier than a normal one.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting feeling. All right, let's see.
So, yeah.
See if I can't figure out how to open this.
You lead with the black end when you're putting it in. And then there you go. You got a lot of room for batteries in there. 22, 2600. You could probably fit those big flat kind of 3300 packs in there. Now, all your receiver stuff is going to be in the big wing hole. Look at that big square hole at the top.
Yeah, I like how they give you the Velcro with it too. It's always a nice thing when they give it to you.
Now, in there, you've got brass threaded inserts for the wing, and you're going to see a funky looking 2-wire like Y connector. Now, before you button the hole, I don't know if you got one, but I did. You got one? It might be.
Maybe yours was
it might be in your parts.
And it
might be in your parts bag.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second. So, is that the 2-wire one? Yep. Is that 2-wire or 3?
2.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So take that and put it in the garbage. No, no, I'm just kidding. Here's the deal. So because the access is through the top, if you don't want blinking lights,
Okay.
get rid of that little driver,
Okay.
and you can make it happen with the Y connectors that are come with the plane, and then extra. If you're using a 6-channel receiver, you'll have an extra channel where you can work it out, or you can just put another Y in or whatever. I didn't have to add anything. I got rid of that
You
driver
just didn't want the
because
flashing lights. Now, if somebody
I.
wants flashing lights, they could leave this in.
That's right. But what happens when you use that is your nose light right there under the engine is solid, and everything else, the landing light and the nav lights, will blink.
Ah.
And they do it kind of randomly, not all at the same time, but it's still, I don't want my nav lights and landing lights blinking. So I got rid of that. I'll save it for another
Cool.
project. Yeah. Just so you know, before you get it all
Right.
put together, if you don't want blinking, then get rid of it.
Let me grab the rudder out, and we'll show the guys that, and then we can talk about that part where you were talking
Oh
about.
man, it's slick, dude.
See if I can figure out how to set this down without dropping it. I really do like I didn't even notice this in the pictures, but I mean that's slick looking right there. These are hard plastic too. I mean they're slick looking.
Man.
Little boozer touch of smoke across here, dirty.
Oh man,
Yeah, definitely.
I think I love the trim scheme on
I
this
do
thing.
too.
It's kind of vintage, but it's a little sporty as well.
The red is really popping. I mean it looks good, and then the dark black windows. I mean it really does look good. I'm digging it. All right, let's see here.
Me too.
Stop dropping it.
We're gonna let you guys we're gonna show you all these parts, and then I want to talk about. Me and Captain Committa flew one a few times
That
today,
looks
and
slick.
it does, right?
The branding.
Look at that bottom. Look at the bottom of that
Plastic.
vertical,
Man,
dude.
it's thick too.
See that notch,
Yep.
that slot?
Yep.
That's where that steering tiller goes. And then look at those plastic bits with the brass threads in it. That goes over the horizontal, clamps it all down together.
No, it's sweet. And I like the weight at the top, or what you would call it. What is it? A counterbalance? But yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sweet looking bird. Foam hinges again, guys. Like I said, everybody always asks every week, so just clear that up again.
It's got that little embellishment on the bottom back of the rudder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just
tad.
Yep. Just
Just
to be cool. Yep.
Right,
it's cool,
let's see if I
man.
can just kind of slide this in there just for kicks for guys. So you take the
Put the horizontal on first.
Well, you're gonna have me put
I'm not
the
trying
whole
to be-
plane together here.
You easily could.
Let's see. So that just kind of keys in there like that.
But there's no reason to put one together though, Wesley, because
right.
I've got one
Ta-da!
right here, all the way together. Check
Dude,
that
that's
out.
cool.
Right?
Here, wait.
Dude.
Wait, we're not on screen. Hang on. And
That's okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! And I'm not going to be able to show you detail, but all together,
Dude, it looks sweet.
there you go. It's
It
nice,
is.
man.
It's a good size too. Like I said, this one is it's big enough that you can see it and it's gonna fly good, but it's not so big that you got to take it apart to put it in the car. Guys with smaller cars, I think you're gonna fit this in the back seat, no problem, without having to take it apart, which is cool.
If you have to take it apart, it's not too much
Right,
trouble. But there's it's a small enough plane that you're not going to have the multi-port wing connector harnesses and stuff. So it kind of just is what it is. So if you can keep it together, you'll be better off. But Lori's going to put up some pictures. You can see it a little bit better, I think, online. Is there anything left in the box? I mean, it's a pretty low parts count,
The only thing
right,
left
Wesley?
is the spinner that I didn't get out of there, but we'll show that here in just a second. That's fine.
Look at that! Look at that thing in action.
Dude, it's sweet.
So this is available at hobbyzone.com. This is Arrows RC 1300 millimeter 3S power Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot. I love the name of it. I really do. And the font
And guys,
on it, it kind of just reminds me of the old monster trucks too. Maybe that's what they were going for, but me and you just stuck to Bigfoot for the Sasquatch.
oh come on, how can you not go for Sasquatch, right? But this thing, guys, I'm telling you, we work really hard to be able to fly these things before we talk about them. Wesley obviously is doing the unboxing. Be watching the Mary Boozer YouTube channel for his videos on this aircraft. We filmed it, of course, and we're going to film it some more. So tonight, I'm going to get into the flight talk a little bit, Wesley.
Sure.
If there's more to show us, go ahead. But so we did the maiden flight and then a couple more flights tonight. And I'm almost embarrassed to say we flew it twice before I calibrated the ESC. And then on the third flight, I calibrated the ESC first. And man, it was almost like I put a 4S in there.
Right.
So I was flying it kind of anemic for the first couple flights. So I flew it on the maiden flight. It was flawless. Bobby Cometa flew the second flight, and it was a lot of fun. But we're going to take it back out at the proper ESC settings and have some more fun with it. But I want to tell you this. So maiden flight 2600, second flight's 2200, no problem either way. The book does not call for any flap to elevator mix. Cessna, anybody who's got experience with them will know that anytime you drop the flaps on these things, the nose really comes up, especially if you got any speed at all. So like I did on the little Cessna Skytrainer, I just went with a default at 11% for mid flap, 22% at full, and I didn't have to touch it. It was perfect. So when we go back out with this, I'm gonna go with some down elevator, and I'm gonna show you how slow you can get it. This thing was unbelievably slow, considering the fact that we had no wind at all. I know Wesley wants to fly his like a kite, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, be watching both of our channels for these things. We had a blast with this thing, but calibrate your ESC. Remember that the driver's going to make your lights blink. And I don't think there's any other things to look out for, really.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be one sweet little airplane. And I love bush planes because it doesn't matter what the weather's doing as far as wind. I mean, within reason, you don't want to go out in 30 mile an hour. Although I have, and it was actually still a lot of fun.
Yes.
But this one is going to be a good plane for the guys that live in breezier parts of the country, too. And it doesn't care about grass or runway. You don't need a paved, manicured lawn for this thing. You can take off anywhere with this thing as long as it's not 7-foot tall grass over there or nothing. But, within reason, guys aren't going to have a problem with this one in the grass. And it's going to be docile or crazy. I can already feel it that this one's going to be one of those planes you can fly it either way.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. So the book does call out for millimeter throws in the manual. Guys, we're doing this midweek trying to get it done and fly it before we talk about it. I'm actually out of town right now. So Wesley and Lori and I are working in the past for the future.
Sneaky.
Right. Yeah, clear as mud, right? So point being, hustlectomy, right? So I went with my standby 100% full rate, 70% low rate, 20% expo all around. Once we got it up in the air, we stayed at full rate all day, and we did our maiden flight. I was like, it's a bush plane. I flew off grass for the first flight. We did grass and the runway, flaps, no flaps, the regular stuff. But yeah, I'm a little, like I say, I'm embarrassed like I didn't calibrate the ESC first because
you had a lot more power.
We'd had a lot more power. It was still cool, but I tell you, this thing flies so smooth. Bobby and I said the same thing about these other two little 2S birds. It was like there was stabilizers in them. And this thing, I think with the Vortex generators, they actually work, you know what I mean, on an aircraft, full scale or model, they actually work. Definitely. So you put your discerning eye on, and you can watch me and Wesley's video and decide if you want one of these for yourself.
Now, real quick, Ryan, would you mind throwing a battery in yours and showing the guys what the lights look like?
Not at all. I'm prepared for it.
That would be cool.
So yes.
So I know guys are probably interested in that, and if you were curious, I do have the Marlin sitting here. So guys that have just got their Marlins, maybe for size comparison to the Fuselage, the wing's way bigger on this, but
For a point of reference, I'm going to throw in just because I got it sitting here, I got a 3300 3S, and of course this plane comes with XT60 connector. So let me get my radio.
you know, I'm really digging all the Arrows planes right now. I mean, I've got the Marlin here. Probably by the time that this is actually airing, this will be flown, hopefully. But, dude, I'm loving all their planes right now. The quality,
I'll tell you this.
For what you're getting and what you're paying, the quality is great.
At the time of this show, these are, I believe, $179 with a $20 off coupon available, so you can get it for $159.
Dang.
Which I think is just insanely generous.
Mm-hmm.
For like you say, for what you get, this is
Flaps,
easily
lights.
Come
I
on.
mean, you're getting all the
Yep.
goodies.
And it's typical at this point. The 2 millimeter, metric Allen machine screws is what we have in this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so fire in the hole.
Clear prop. Man, that light on the front is blinding. I can already tell.
Oh, dude. You know what? We flew it at dark. So I'll tell you, I brought some other planes with me tonight, and this was the only one I flew. Even when we were done filming, I kept flying it.
Oh, I guarantee it's a ball.
Dude, and by the way, the 3300 3S just fit in there no problem. So look at that.
Landing
There's
light is blinding.
Yeah, especially because they're so close, right? But you got the red one here, and of course we're in a lit up room.
Yeah, they're day brights. So they look good.
And there's green. I mean, should I turn the lights off?
Sure. Sneaky, run over. Dude, this thing's gonna be bright. Run, Forrest, run! Nobody else can see him. Yeah, those look cool. Look at that thing. Holy smokes. You can still see the other airplanes in the room getting lit up in green.
I need to get wireless headphones, dude.
Dude, those are bright to be lighting that whole room up like that.
Dude, look at this. Straight at you. I mean, my word, right? Look at the back wall is green, like Incredible Hulk.
Those day bright LEDs are bright.
Yeah, so we were flying at dark. It's starting to get dark early, and I had no problem. Everybody else was landing and being done for the night. But this was holding it down. All right, I'm going to light it up.
Alexa, turn the lights on. Oh no, my Alexa's probably going to go crazy right now. Oh. Dude, that looks great though. It looks awesome.
Pretty cool, right?
Definitely. No, I'm digging it. I can't wait to get it up in the air. I'm going to definitely try and sneak out right after work and fly this thing tomorrow. It looks like it's going to be a ball. Lori's over there shaking her head like, yeah, that sounds fun. Might even throw the Marlin
I think it's tough enough to take some abuse. So guys want to know, like, who's this for? Honestly,
honestly.
It really is for anybody. Sometimes I steer away from saying beginners because it's like maybe it's really scale and it'd be easy to break it up. But this is definitely, I mean, I wouldn't say first plane unless you had a coach.
Right. If you had somebody kind of helping you to buddy box, I could see this being a first plane. Yeah. I don't know about just going and throwing it out there and trying it first time. I think you definitely smash it without a little experience.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you had a buddy box, I could see somebody doing it with this one.
And if you aren't familiar with flaps and you do these flaps without,
she's gonna balloon really hard, probably.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I like it. I really do.
Yeah. But it's one of those planes, like I said, I love STOL planes. I can fly jets. I've flown a lot of different stuff right now, but I always go back to my STOL planes for a windy day. Is my microphone off right now?
No,
Okay,
you're
I was
good.
just making sure. But for a windy day, where I could just go out and play, I love it. All the other guys are putting their stuff away and going home, and I'm like, heck no, it's like 15 mile an hour right now. Let's go fly our Stoll planes. Throw the cones out and try and do the spot landings.
I keep saying it all the time where it is fun to fly everything, but it is really fun to just relax with no pucker
Right.
sometimes, And I like to always talk about pros and cons. Um so let's go cons just for a
Sure.
minute, just because
You
you
got it.
got to have some. And it's just almost not fair if you don't. So if I were king for a day, the only thing I would want to change. Now, there's plenty of room in the battery bay, but it would be okay if the door was a little bigger to get in
Mm-hmm.
there, but no big deal. These body clips, I've said it before on the other planes too. It's the same style. So these body clips are really strong and rigid, and they're more suited for going in, parallel to the datum than through the top. But through the top is an easier hole to
Right.
drill for manufacture. So what I think, you know, I like using what comes with the plane to show you guys, but if it's on me, I'm using a 90-degree control rod or something, just bent,
Mm-hmm.
stick it through the hole and tape it on. Then you never see this stuff and it does the same job because these are rigid enough that you're going to have to pry them apart a little bit before you put them in, I think.
Right.
um, just so you're not stressing these bits here,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you force too much, you might hurt something.
Yeah, I always liked
Um,
the style that they stuck in, and then it was like a long uh, wire that like clips in. You know what I'm talking about?
they did it on some of the
Right.
biplanes, right?
Yeah,
Like
it was like a big.
E-flite did it to
Yeah.
the SE5 did it, and I think
The
they did it on the
Prometheus
Stearman.
also did it. That Carbon Z
Yep,
Prometheus. Yeah.
that's
If you
right.
take the wing apart a lot, I can see that being a pain in the butt too, though, because sometimes they were kind of hard to do them versus just the body clips like you're talking. And the good news is about these body clips is you can buy them at any RC shop because they're body clips for one of those race trucks.
Dime a dozen.
Right.
Well, if you really didn't like these body clips, you could just get a screw and do it. Hey, Lori, what's up?
She snuck by to go get the dog toy away. He was making a bunch of noise.
That's hilarious.
And now he's like, hey, what
But
the
yeah,
heck?
you could pin it in with a small screw,
Right.
and like I said, I mean, I've seen other planes, even like 3D ships, where it was like what you said. I think the Prometheus had a mix of that tech, where it was there were some that were pretty big and beefy, but I think I can't remember what else I flew where. At first, I thought it was kind of cheap. Like, what? It's just an L and then a piece of
But
tape.
it worked.
But it worked so good. I was like, this is great. So,
For my cons, I mean, I haven't flown it or really got to sit down with it, but the one thing I'd like to have seen is maybe just a hair squishier tire. It's just
yeah,
it's not a big thing for me because I know this is going to be great in the grass, and this is part of the keeping the cost down to keep this
yeah,
plane that you the more bits of scale you put on it, the more that price goes up. And if these are like 150 right now, well, Laurie's got the page right there. Put the page up again for a second, and then there's a
yeah.
promo code right now. I mean,
Yep.
guys, you can't go wrong. Other planes that are in this same size and this same genre. Let's see, we've got like the e-flite. What the heck's that thing called? The Timber and that stuff. They're all
Yeah.
more. So that's
Yeah.
kind of cool
Yeah.
that they kept some of the stuff. You're the things where they saved money on aren't big real breakers, and the tires on that Timber kind of suck too, to be honest. Just being honest, but it was
No,
a
I
lot
get
more
it.
expensive too. I think
Yeah,
that
I
plane
mean,
is still like $249 or something. So I mean, I don't see $100 more in value on it.
Well, and there's some guys don't want to do AS3X or
Right.
safe, and these come as a
As a
plug and
plug and
play.
play.
You get
Add your own gyro if you want.
everything you need. The only other thing I mean, not to pick on the plane, but I think it just adds credibility to us, Wesley, because I mean, we love what we're doing, so it's always very we're positive guys, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
But I would have liked the wing joiner. So the wings are half, they're in half, right? So if the wing joiner, each one of these hold downs are individual, one, two, three, four.
Right.
If it was like a joiner where it mended the two together, you know, one, two together, one and two together. I mean that would be that'd be
Yeah.
nice. Again, it's not a
It's
deal
not a
breaker.
deal
You have
breaker.
that you have that big spar going
Yeah.
through there, and you could mate the wing and glue it.
Yep. Hey, Laurie,
But
talk to you for a second. We'll just show the guys what he's talking about, if you don't mind.
yeah,
Here you
yeah,
go.
no, do it.
So you can see
Yep.
it just slides together, guys, and then you get the 4 pins. So I'm seeing what you're
Mhm.
talking about.
Yep. Just a little joiner plate like you get on warbirds and stuff.
Mm.
But you could glue it.
Oh
You
yeah.
could even just tape it on the bottom. And then you've got that trough there that you want your wires in when it drops into the bottom of the fuse.
And they're all kind of misted. There you go. But I mean, there's not a bad gap on this airplane too. I'll notice that most of the panel gaps and stuff are real tight fitting.
Yeah, man. Dude, we had a ball with it
Dude,
tonight.
it's a
I
sweet
can't
looking
wait.
little bird. I like it.
I went once I got the pep in its step. I mean, I, it's doing everything. You know, it's doing knife edge. I'm kicking big slips.
Well, it ain't.
I'm landing it with and without flaps. I mean, inverted's no problem. Knife edge was there. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, this thing is fully
Not you.
capable of just cruising and and ripping it up a little.
Oh.
You know what I mean? A lot of fun.
Lori's making fun of me. She's like, it is on the front view. Everybody just saw me going to the front. And Lori's like, it is.
To the front.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta say, really, it was cool to look forward to this Bigfoot. It's a great plane. Me and Wesley have been enjoying the tag team live streams and getting to be on each other's show and stuff. And I thought it'd be a good idea to bring him in on one of these
Dude,
announcements.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
so
not
cool.
not quite official because they snuck it out via an emailer. Go to hobbyzone.com and sign up for that newsletter emailer
And
too,
use that
if
link
you
in
think
the
about it.
description.
Yeah, if you're interested in getting these or any other aircraft that you've seen us fly, there's always links in the description to our videos, and those we're affiliates. Wesley's going to be soon, and I'm one now, and it's nice. It helps fund things. Helps fund things like. Can you see this?
Boom. Guys, we've been talking about that thing for like an hour before the show starts. He is so excited about his new camera.
Dude, I was so pumped to go out and film with this today that I made Bobby fly something else he brought with him like 3 times before we put the camera up on Bigfoot because I wanted to make sure I got
Dude, it
something
looks
good.
sweet. I mean, you look like you got like a freaking studio camera
Dude.
for like Hollywood now.
It's so legit, and that's what I'm getting at, guys. When you put in the work, you know, you make a little bit, you put it back in your channel, just to keep bringing the goods to all of our friends and the people that watch this stuff. Wesley does the same thing.
Working on the studio.
So
I know you've got your new studio. You're just barely moved into it, like 2 weeks now.
it's a
Getting it
mess.
set up.
I mean, I gotta lay hard. Here, let me tell you, we always do a Pilot Ryan story from daily life, right? You ready for a piece of junk story? Just busy working on the house, right? So ripping out ceramic tile, which is a big deal. I got it out. I got a bunch of screws to deal with, but I went and picked up 1,500 pounds of maple yesterday. And the minute I got to the place, it's about a half hour away. The minute I got to the place, the brakes were spongy. All of a sudden, it took going all the way to the floor to get to the stop. And I'm like, this is seriously as I was pulling into the place to pick up the wood. So, you know what comes next. I called a tow truck and took it to the service station, and I did the right thing and was super smart about it. Nope. I loaded it up in the truck anyway, drove all the way across town with a 1,500-pound load in a truck with the brakes quitting the bed, and drove home at 30 miles an hour.
Well, that's
So
scary.
yeah, right. Unload. I'm living on the edge. Unloaded that stuff, and then it's just a busy time. Busy time. So anyway, links are in the description. If you hear anybody say that, it's because we want to give you access to these things, but a lot of times it kind of helps us out as well.
Yep.
So think about supporting that stuff.
Definitely. And be looking in the next few days for us to drop the videos of these two planes flying. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some little ideas up our sleeves with those too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Expect a goofy boozer show as always. Whenever I get a chance to be Bigfooting or any kind of funny bush plane.
Yeah, right. So this is Saturday. So it will be. So Sunday
Right.
is your show.
Right. And we will, as far as I know, unless something happens, we should be putting our videos up of them flying maybe tomorrow night for you guys. And then we'll do
Nice.
some official videos in the coming weeks, or in the next few days afterwards, I should say. But yeah, definitely come by tomorrow night, Sunday, 8 p.m. Check out some more action. We have some other people stopping by to talk about Joe Nall because we're 1 week away officially. What do you got over there? Is that 72
When you're
megahertz? Oh, I
No.
saw the thing on top of it.
That's a funny story. No, Back to the Future, he's using a Futaba.
Oh, that's funny.
And since
Yeah.
we're like playing with the space-time continuum this
It's
episode,
kind of weird.
I thought I'd bust out the
That's funny.
Futaba. So there was we were flying at Neffy and there was not a windsock. And I said something to Jay Smith about it, not complaining, but I was like, it is the AMA after all. It would be nice to have a windsock. And he ripped off one of these things from like a parking area and gave
He
it to
said,
me.
there you go. But yeah.
So I sponsored part of that show along with some other vendors at the Neffy. It's a fundraiser. Right. So this channel right here donated some money, and I got this flag.
Sweet.
To show
you got
for
a sweet
it. Yep.
story and a memory too, though.
That's it.
What?
But
yeah, so like I said, we're going to be talking about Joe Nall for next week on the Boozer Show. Come by. We'll be talking Bigfoot again, I'm sure. It's cool. So I'm really getting excited for that. Anybody that's in the area, it's going to be in, where is it? It's just outside of Woodruff, South Carolina. I can't ever remember the actual name of the town. Darn. Anyway, Joe Nall, look it up. It's the Disneyland of RC aviation. Anything you can think of. This is called Fall Nall, but it's growing to be almost the same size as the big one now. It used to be the electric Joe Nall, but now they're kind of back to just full-on Joe Nall again.
It used to be what? E-Week or something like that?
But there was such a demand to do another Joe Nall that they just turned it into full-blown Joe Nall again. So 3D line,
I would plan
electric line, and then the giant scale jets and turbines and all that stuff on the main line, and then they have a float line, helicopter, 3D, all have their own lines, so it's crazy.
I would plan on going, but I don't want y'all to get rained out.
Right. Well,
because that's what happens when I plan on going to Joe Nall.
I'm just saying, you got to come with me next year.
That's right, man. We'll do it one of these days. So we'll put we'll put links in the description for information for the Fall Nall. If you aren't familiar with Mary Boozer, I think
I don't know
doubt
how on this channel.
Yeah, right. But the link to his channel will be in the video and in the description. Check that out. Make sure you turn on your notifications so when he goes live every Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern time, you'll know it. And also he posts usually other content on usually you go for Wednesday morning. I kind of shoot for, I do whatever I need to, but it's usually once a week for me.
Every Wednesday morning is what I go for. I haven't missed one in a long time, but I'm not going to say it could never happen. But
It depends what the algorithm tells me. The algorithm made me do it.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna start blaming it if I ever have to miss an episode. Like I said, I haven't missed one in like 5 months now. So every
Yeah,
Wednesday, every Sunday, dedication.
that's
We're on
awesome.
1 year now. We did cross 1,400 subscribers today, so thank you everybody that's made that happen
Fantastic.
officially.
Fantastic.
So it's cool. It just grows a little bit more every day. I would have never thought in 1 year we'd have grown that much. I mean, that's awesome. So hard
You,
work pays off.
I'm telling you, you keep showing up. That's the deal. It does pay
We,
off. And then beyond that, there's you can nerd out on some of these features of the of the YouTube,
right.
and it helps. So anyway, nobody wants to hear us talk about
Anyway,
that.
yeah.
Guys, let's wrap it
Yeah.
up, shall we?
And we'll see y'all
This is
tomorrow.
one of those. This is one of those premieres. So some of you guys may not be completely familiar with how these work, but we pre-recorded this one because I can't be here for Saturday. So this is what it is. It goes down just like a live. You've seen us in the comment section hanging out there with you. Um, these are a lot of fun, and I tell you, they don't happen by accident. Me and Wesley, for whatever you see tonight, we've talked about it two or three other times and made plans so this can happen, and then timelines for getting these things out. I always want to fly these things before I talk about them if I can. I just because it's otherwise you're just kind of guessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyhow, thanks for coming over. This is episode 59. I can't believe it. And Wesley and Lori, thanks for your help so much. It's funny, like I'm sponsoring Wesley's workups on the Bigfoot, but he sponsors me all the time uh, in the realm of
That's
production and
right.
things like that.
Hey, doesn't it look good
So,
tonight?
Lori, it does look good. Lori, thank you so much. Wesley, thank you so much. And Hanger Rat community, thank you so much. Keep looking out for new content from all your favorite channels, not just me and Wesley, but all of our regular community members in the chat. We couldn't and wouldn't do it without you. We love you, and let's wrap it, shall
Yes,
we?
sir.
All right, it's my Saturday, so I guess I'll do it. We're out of here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. Stick a monkey pants. See you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye now.